Good morning, you sexy sons of bitches. It's Friday. I have the funniest, behind the scenes shit going on here. First of all, you may notice that Simpiwe is just show her chair. There's no there's no Simpiwe. So Simpiwe's had a hell of a week. On Monday, we were standing around in the office, and I was in a meeting, and I suddenly heard boom, something hit the ground, and I was like, Jesus, what the hell was that? It was Simpiwe. She just passed out, and she hit her head really hard on the desk behind her. So we were all really justifiably worried, and there were people running around. It's always funny in an office when something terrible happens, or there's an emergency of some kind, or you need people to help out. And there are always some people who are really good in a crisis situation, and then there are people who are no use at all. We got Marvin, who was pretty useful. I got to say, I don't think James and Flex were in the room at the time. Were you? No, so they weren't very useful. But I don't think you two would be terrible in an emergency. No, I know you would. And then there was Michaela, who started with us running social media recently. And she was literally but she didn't know what to do at all. Useless, completely useless to us. I mean, she's very, very good at what she does, and she's very sweet, but don't call on her in an emergency. Am I right? No. Okay. So anyway, we checked on Sims. So she took Tuesday and Wednesday to recover. Because, you can, if you hit your head badly, you can get a concussion. You could be in some serious trouble. And we were very worried about her for a little bit. But she was back at work on Thursday. And then we had an awards thing last night. And I said to her, Simpiwe, glad to see that you're up and at 'em and you're not drooling. And, she wasn't sitting there going, because that would have been terrible. Anyway, so she's okay. And I think she's walking in as we speak. Look at this. We're gonna have a real-time update. Look at that. Come on down. I was just talking about you. I was just saying that I hope you're okay.
No, I made it. I
was telling everybody about your adventure on Monday where you passed out.
Oh hell, Gareth! I thought that was between TRN and us.
Sorry. Nothing is saved from our audience. Are you okay?
I'm good. I made it for the show.
How was the rest of last night?
I wish I was as brave as you, Gareth. And was fuck it, I'm done. And then he left.
So I'll tell you what happened last night. We had an awards ceremony.
Yes.
And TRN was up for an award for the rebranding that we did back in March, April. And we ended up getting a bronze, which was awesome because there wasn't a gold.
Mm-hmm.
So, I take that as a silver then. I don't care what they say.
True.
It was the Bookmark Awards, but I'm not very good at those things, so I don't hang around for very long. And the rest of the team was there to represent, so I didn't feel like I needed to be. It went well.
Yeah, it went okay. The one big walkaway was we should take 4 hours off every day. So
is that what somebody said?
Yes. We should definitely take off 4 hours every day. And then what was the other one? The other one was take an extra hour when you go on your lunch break. Those are two very important announcements.
I think when that was said, that's when I got up and left.
Oh, okay,
yes,
cool.
In the middle of
So that was the only important
remarks.
thing.
Okay.
Only important thing.
Well, listen, I'm more importantly happy that you, after bumping your head so hard on Monday, that you're okay, because that was not cool, and everybody was a little bit worried.
Yes.
And I was telling them I was very relieved when I saw you and you weren't drooling. All right, so this morning we have a lot to get to. Yes. We are going to be joined a little bit later on by Sandile Shangase, who, if you haven't watched On The Bounce, then you will know Sandile already from all kinds of other places. But if you have watched On The Bounce, you'll know he's the co-host there with Ben, and the two of them will be in a little later on. We'll talk a bit about sport and talk a bit about where they both have been, what they're up to, and all kinds of other interesting things, and let you ask them all the personal questions that you don't get to ask on their show.
Mm-hmm.
So loads of stuff to talk about then. And hey, the Mpox is out, says Goon in the comments. And Simpiwe is just collapsing and making a comeback without an explanation. She doesn't have the Mpox. Don't panic. Okay, and can I tell you what? I think this thing's bullshit. And it's going to take a lot of convincing. for me to take any precautions that the government or the general medical establishment tell me to do. And you know what? If it kills me, for those people who are panicky and worried, but what if it's true? Then I'll be your first casualty. You could say, well, if he's dead, I'm definitely going to go and take the precautions. Okay? Let me be your guinea pig.
Okay.
But until I am convinced, I am taking no advice from the people who gave us COVID advice. Okay? So I'll be your canary in the coal mine on that front. Floyd, says Carl, can you believe it? I know it's No Politics Friday, but what the fuck?
Yes, get it.
So what do we think? Floyd Shivambu upped and just left the EFF.
Yeah, he was like, I ain't coming back, motherfucker, and I'm out. That's what he said. He said, you've been treating me like nonsense for 10 years, and you know what? I'm down with your black ass, and I'm going to go to somebody who's going to appreciate me. That's what I think he said. I think
that would have been a much better press conference. I actually would have watched the press conference if you'd done it. If you'd been a scriptwriter, I would have been all over it. Anyway, yeah, I think he got sick of being second fiddle.
Yes.
I think Julius stole the lion's share of attention and tenders for himself. And I think Floyd is like, I had enough of being your like law enforcer inside the party, because that's kind of what he was. He was like the big, like he was the heavy that you brought in,
yes.
You know, because people were way more scared of Floyd than they were of Julius inside the party. And we heard already last year there were ructions going on, that they weren't getting along very well.
Yes.
And now he's gone to join MK, along with the venerable Jimmy Manyi.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey, guys. It's getting interesting.
I think it is interesting. Like, I think we're actually in a very, very cool place in this country where you can now, like, the battle lines are drawn, you can stake your claim, and then we can ascertain a whole bunch of other things about you. You know, so good for Floyd. He had the smart. I mean, listen, it's not really that much of a choice. Let's think about it. Do you want to be number 2 in a party that has 9%? Or do you want to be number 3 or 4 in a party that is 14%? Proportionally, you have a better deal in the party with 14%. Plus, it's clever of because he is slowly making his party less about just him. Because if it's just him and he hops the perch tomorrow, like, you know, he's busy out there in Kantla and he slips and trips in the fire pool.
It's done.
Finish.
It's done.
So this is a good move for Floyd. It's a good move for Jay-Z. It's a good move for the country. Because, you know, that party's so full of good people like, Lucky Montana and... yes, no, there's some good people in there.
But what is interesting with the MK, because also earlier this week, they announced, I think they're on a recruiting spree. I don't know what's going on.
It sounds like it, yeah?
Yeah, because they also have confirmed that they're adding former ESCOM CEO, former PRASA chief, former Transnet boss. So it's like, there's a lot happening, guys. There's going to be a whole lot more announcements, in my opinion. And it looks like MK is not yet to play, hey?
No, but they also, I mean, they're really, it's quantity over quality for them, because as you said, Brian Molefe and, you know, these are great people who've ripped the country blind. But okay, again, you know what it does? Instead of getting like all bent out of shape about that, you can go, thanks, guys, you're doing us a favor. We can vote for state capture or not state capture. And I'm not saying that the not state capture crew are all fantastic, because we know they've got their problems, right? The Government and National Unity crew. But at least you know what the other guys stand for now. I just feel sorry. I do feel a little bit sorry for Julius, because it does mean that it's just going to be a downhill slide for the EFF. I mean, I don't see them growing now. I don't see it getting better for them, you know?
He was so heartbroken. He compared this to his mother's death.
Shem. Did he say that?
Yes. So I watched a bit of the press conference. He is so heartbroken. He is just like, you know, the EFF has a policy, once you've left and you join another party, you can't come back. But for Floyd, they'll make an exception.
Oh, really?
He views him as a brother. Yes. And the doors will always be open for him because he's a founding member. So he's very heartbroken about this, and I don't know where this will leave the EFF. He also said that this might make or break them.
The problem is, though, that I don't know whether I ever believe politicians. Like, the problem that I have with them is so often what they're doing is performing for an audience, that when they say something that sounds like they could be telling the truth or that they do mean it, I still go, I don't think that's unfair. Anyway, so we got lots to get to this morning. I also have to tell you that Flex and James, who are sitting in the production booth over there, having a bit of a rough morning because they... what time did you finish puzzaing last night? Flex, what time? All right, so everybody's asked in the comments here. They've all met James. They've seen what James looks like. They saw his ass being paddled on Wednesday. Monday? They saw him getting his ass paddled on Monday. So, Flex, come here quickly and say hello to everybody. No, you have to come. Come here and just come in. Come and sit next to Simpiwe so that people can see who you are.
Hi, Flex.
You just have to sit and say hi, and then I won't terrorize you anymore. Okay, so just
did you hear that grunt?
Yeah, I didn't like that at all. James, do you know which camera he's on? There he is. There's Flex. There he is.
Hi, Flex.
Yeah, that camera's aligned beautifully. All right. Okay, thank you, Flex. You don't have to worry. I'm not going to torment you. I know your work to do. There, now you know he's a real person, everybody. Listen, we were a little bit worried that Simpiwe wasn't going to make it this morning, but have no fear. I have lots of things to talk to you about today. So first of all, this is fascinating.
Okay.
I don't know if you saw the story. If you didn't, this may be the first place you hear about it. But Matthew Perry, apparently they've arrested a person over the death of Matthew Perry from Friends. Remember they say he drowned in his pool? Or his jacuzzi or whatever?
It was lies, though.
He was found unresponsive at his Los Angeles home in October last year. A post-mortem examination found the cause of his death was the acute effects of ketamine.
Nazo.
Yeah, a controlled drug which the recovering addict was taking as part of his supervised therapy. Just by the way, probably not such a good idea to take ketamine and hop in the pool. Just generally, even if someone did kill him, you probably shouldn't do that. Call me a stickler. But if you're super high and in water, this is not a good combo. Yeah. Anyway, LA police opened an investigation in May of this year to determine whether he was overdosed with drugs and why maybe he had so much of the drug in his system. And then they reported that multiple people had been arrested and were facing federal charges. Ketamine is used as a treatment for depression, anxiety, and pain. People close to Matthew Perry told a coroner's investigation after the death he was undergoing the treatment. Just how the actor, who had reportedly not had a supervised infusion session for several days, obtained the drug became the subject of the legal investigation. So I want to ask you an honest question here, and you don't have to admit whether you are a user or a recreational user or you're a stickler for not doing it at all. Do you think it's right that if someone overdoses themselves, that the dealer should go down? I mean, the dealer is not your doctor, and the dealer is not you, and the dealer isn't force-feeding the drug into you, and often the dealer is just a dude who has a car. So, between us, do you really think they should be going after the dealer here? Or possibly the ketamine clinic that he was at, because he's still the one who took the stuff unsupervised and put himself in that position. I'm not trying to exonerate everybody. There's obviously a little bit of blame to go around. But what do you think? I mean, who really ultimately should be responsible for the fact that Matthew Perry ended up high and in his pool? I don't think it's really those other people. I'm happy to take anyone else's idea on this.
I think if it was an ordinary Joe, I agree with you. I 100% agree with you. But because it's wholly weird.
Oh, okay.
And because also I'm thinking of Kanye when he dropped screenshots of what his doctor said to him. On Sam, I can get you like addicted to all sorts of drugs without you knowing it. And there's basically Hollywood handlers. And you might not even know what you're taking, right?
Yeah.
Because these people are very, hey,
Yeah.
Shiggy shiggy is a lot there. I do believe that they should go after, the person that subscribed the pills and whatnot, and they should go after that, because I do think it's a whole thing. Like they do it on purpose. There's a reason why these guys stay in the cycle even when they've left, and they're like, I'm sober now and whatnot, and then 10 years later, chiggy chiggy, and the only link is their doctor.
Yeah, well, you remember Conrad Murray, right? To help your case along. Like Dr. Conrad Murray's the guy who was injecting propofol into Michael Jackson.
Yes.
But he was like literally there going, do you want some more, Michael? Michael, yes, doctor, I would love some more. I love to be on propofol. It makes me feel like I'm in love again, and I can make music. I can do it. I can do it all, doctor. Give me more. And then he died. So Dr. Conrad Murray went to jail. And I think if you're there actually injecting the shit into your patient at the rough time that he dies, I mean, Mapelo says they should only go after the dealer if he sold to a minor, not a grown man. One of the doctors said, I wonder how much money we can get out of this moron. Probably.
Yes.
And that's okay. And you know what? Frankly, if his life was so shitty that he was seeking the ketamine treatment, then he wanted to make his life better. If the doctor said to him, do this, but don't do it at home, and he thought, what does the doctor know? It's on him. Sorry. I know it's Hollywood, and you make a good point.
Yeah, no. Hollywood. When it comes to Hollywood, anything is possible. So I personally just think that, I'm like, let them all go down. Let the truth be told. What really happened.
Max Sony says I'm very silly. Okay, well, I don't know if is it my opinions or my Michael Jackson, my shitty Michael Jackson impersonation. Should never have bought the drugs if he did via a dealer. The moment he did that, it's his fault. Coming from someone who's taken some hard stuff before. Thank you, Patrick.
Okay.
At least he's owning up to it and he's giving us some life experience. I'm going to make a video of all of Gareth's impersonations and accents. Bro's always on point, says Barely Vocal Media. Really? Sometimes I'm not, but okay. Don't embarrass me, right? More than I embarrass myself, if you don't mind.
Okay.
That would be nice. Anyway, look, it's all very sad. And I think what happens when a celebrity dies is we all go, oh no, that's terrible. Can't we bring them back? And you can't. So I'm sorry if you're a Friends fan. First of all, I'm sorry that it's not the 90s for you anymore, because that era is over. Second of all, the Friends are now in their 60s. So so if anyone who's just discovered them now, they don't look like that anymore. Okay, I hate to break it to you. And third of all, that era of like just doing drugs and like I'm talking even before Friends, the 60s, the 70s. Lots of people died then, but people just went. Now I think, if it's a famous person, big investigation. If it's just some person who's taken street drugs and they die, people just go, only for famous people that we have to get into the detail like this.
That's true.
Okay, so this is quite a good story. Apparently, North Korea is going to reopen for tourism after 5 years. Ha! Why? Because North Korea is best Korea. Yeah, so you can go there now and eat some. You can go to North Korea and maybe they'll have some. Go to North Korea and visit the tomb of Kim Il-sung.
Is that what it has going for it? Besides rats,
Sims, that is what you have to do first. So, as the great Christopher Hitchens once said, North Korea, where he had traveled before himself, so he had eyewitness accounts of this. North Korea is what you call a necrocracy or a mausolocracy. It's actually ruled by a dead man. Kim Il-sung, father of Kim Jong-il, father of Kim Jong-un. So in other words, Kim Jong-un's granddaddy is buried in a mausoleum in North Korea's capital city of Pyongyang. When you arrive in North Korea as a tourist, you have to have your head read. When you get to North Korea and you want to check the place out because it's so beautiful, then the first place they take you is to Kim Il-sung's mausoleum.
Oh, wow.
And you have to pay your respects to him. You know why? Because he is still, despite being dead since the 70s, 80s, still the boss. He is the head of state. So you know our head of state at the moment is Sandile Cupcake Ramaphosa.
So, question.
Yeah.
How do they make decisions? Like, do they channel his inner spirit?
That's
like
a
what?
good question. And you know who can answer it? The Biden administration, because he's dead too. And has been for a year.
Yeah.
So technically on planet Earth at the moment, we have 2 Mozalak. Look at him. Look at him on the beach. There's Biden and poor old Jill. She's reading her nurse's manual on how to change an adult diaper in that particular picture. Meanwhile, there's a bit of drool and dribble and some brown stuff coming down the back of Joe's leg. But he's having a good sleep. Anyway, it is true that in North Korea, the head of state is still Kim Il-sung. And the head of government is Kim Jong-un, his grandson. But if he magically had to wake up, and they've got him embalmed in there, he's embalmed, so he's lying there like that. And if he had to wake up one day, don't know, maybe if they, discover some way of unfreezing him and making him come back to life, then he would still be the boss. In the meantime, if he makes magic happen around his tomb or whatever, that will be a sign that he likes a certain policy. I don't know how it works. But when you land in North Korea, that's the first thing you have to do. The second thing you have to do in North Korea is immediately start foraging for food because they don't have any.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there is no food. There has been no food for a very long time. In fact, what food they have is usually provided by what pets they had about 5 years ago, which some people bury in the snow so they can keep it for the next year or whatever. Huge malnutrition. It's a massive problem over there. But they dance beautifully and they have great
so they invited us
synchronized
to
marches.
starve. Whoa.
No, well, maybe they'll open up one restaurant. You know what? The other thing is that happens in North Korea is that they assign you a guide who will take you to the parts of North Korea that are approved for you to see. You don't just get to wander around. Like, you can't wake up in the morning in your hotel, communist concrete flat in the middle of some shitty neighborhood where ironically there are no birds chirping because they've eaten all of those too. But anyway, you can't wake up in your hotel and go and walk around like, I think I want to go and see the nuclear power plants. It's not going to happen. There is a tour guide whose actual job is to make sure you don't see anything you're not meant to see. So they'll take you to the supermarket where they have actors shopping, pretending to get fresh food, and the shelves are stocked. They'll take you to beautifully manicured parks and gardens and not to the poor parts of town where people are literally having to eat pieces off their children.
Okay.
And they won't show you any of the misery that's going on. And they especially won't take you to the demilitarized zone between the two Koreas, because you'll see probably, the skeletons of oaks who've been in there since the 50s and didn't make it across while they were trying to escape. Because the only thing we really know about North Korea is that there are no people who want to get into North Korea from South Korea. The traffic is all kind of one way. And mostly you just get shot if you try. So there we are. Been sealed off for years, though. What it is, I would be interested to go there, despite all my misgivings in the last bit. I mean, if Kim Jong-un ever watched this show, he wouldn't want me to come. So I've kind of cut myself out of a trip there now. But I'll be okay. I would like to go because it's been completely hermetically sealed off from the rest of the world. The people in North Korea don't know anything about the rest of the world that their government doesn't approve. They don't have the internet, for example. They wouldn't be able to watch this show in North Korea. They only have state television, which tells them what the state wants them to know. So, for example, on the news last night in North Korea, there was a story about how Kim Jong-un got a hole-in-one while playing golf. And then he got 2 hole-in-ones, and then he got 3. And by the end of his golf game, he was the best golfer in the world. State-approved media. That's how it goes there. So, I don't know. It might be interesting. Anyway, they have been closed for 5 years due to the COVID pandemic. Again, North Korea is best Korea, right? According to our operators, at least 2 China-based operators that's tour operators, announced that they are going to soon allow tourists to visit the mountainous northern city of Samyeon. Reclusive North Korea sealed itself off at the start of the pandemic in 2020 and only opened last year. Huh? I mean, they've been closed the whole time. So Beijing's Koryo tour said that tourists could potentially visit other parts of North Korea in December. Having waited for over 4 years to make this announcement, Koryo Tours is very excited for the opening of North Korean tourism once again. And so are we. I mean, I've painted such a great picture. Aren't you excited to go?
I'd love to go. Excited we are.
Yeah. The US bans its citizens from traveling there. So if you're an American, I'm sorry, you can't go.
Damn.
Yeah. They've only allowed Russian tourists to enter the country since 2024 amid warming ties between the two nations. The only warning should be don't go to North Korea. But I don't know. I'm all for open borders in terms of tourists. Let people go and explore the wonderful country of North Korea. How did they do at the Olympics again? Because I saw there was a Kim Jong-un impersonator.
Were they even there?
Yeah.
No,
but they were allowed into Paris. But the most exciting thing about a North Korean team, wasn't there one that visited here in 2010 for the Soccer World Cup, and they tried to just disappear into like Limpopo somewhere? They did. They didn't want to be here.
They're like, freedom, where are you?
Let me tell you, if you think escaping into the Limpopo hinterland is better than where you come from is pretty fucking shitty. That's all I can say.
Can I just...
Hey, Ben, how's it?
Yeah, good, guys. Firstly, finally, and secondly, if you go to YouTube and type in North Korea ski resorts.
Yeah. You keen?
Place is ready for us.
Okay, yeah, because no other tourists are there. They've been ready for the last 5 years, but the country wasn't open. The government wouldn't let it happen. Okay. All right, so Ben is here, which is always good. Friday morning. Are you ready for the weekend, Ben?
Sheepers, I'm so ready. I know we did the show yesterday where we spoke at length about the sports, but just waking up knowing that Perth's been taken over this weekend with our finest exponents of success and brilliance. And yes, I'm so excited for this weekend. So excited.
You talked a lot on the show yesterday about Drickus and the big fight. Mm-hmm. And I think you said also that our rugby players are going to lead him into the...
So we've got Ibn and Sia are literally walking out with him.
Sia and Ibn, huh?
It's an absolute pinnacle South African sport moment that we've never had before, may never have again. And I mean, like tonight, like Ricky, who listens to the show, he gave us his itinerary for the weekend in Perth.
Yeah, he's going to everything. I saw that.
Tonight there's like this Boktown, Bokjol. There's local artists from here that have gone there. It's just going to be the most incredible weekend.
Carl says, Ben always sneaks into the show like a pedo at a primary school polo meet. That's nice.
Slow projection there, Carl. I think I do none of those things. I think it says more about you than me.
Is there a reason you're not putting Sandile on right now? Okay, well, no, bring him in. Get the man comfortable, for God's sake. People already know him from On the Bounce and everywhere else. Sandile, you were made to feel very unwelcome sitting over there.
Yeah,
they kind of left him out.
Ignored,
he was sitting there like a North Korean visa office.
Don't worry, James.
Morning, guys.
Sorry, Sandile. James and Flex are both drunk because they were at an award.
Yeah, they are. No, well, they suffering from a hangover.
I thought there was a different kind of dull in James's eyes this morning.
Yeah. Anyway, so nice to see you, Sandile Shangase and Ben Karpinski, of course, host On the Bounce, which is our sports show here on the Real Network. And I thought, you know what? You've been on there long enough now without coming to this show, Sandile. So it's time you come and join your friend Ben here.
That makes it really, really official. I mean, 10 episodes yesterday, and now you're on the morning show. Like, this is it.
But it's taken so long.
But I want to actually, you guys did my guy James very, very wrong in the week. I saw what you did to him.
When he got
excuse me?
When he got paddled on the ass.
I had to represent my show.
Himself, and I did not see that man complain.
No, it was a bit strange to watch my boy on his all fours.
Sandile, let's be fair though. I mean, he didn't get hit hard. He consented. Leanne was very, very big on consent. And frankly,
so was Dominatrix, frankly. She's very big on consent.
Let me tell you that Dominatrix, she knows her stuff, hey? She brought all the tools. You should have seen the bag she left in the office. She brought one little
For
bag in
James.
here. She has a
Ooh.
bag that can accommodate fishing rods,
That is
Oh,
all kinds of stuff. Oh, she's got a ton
Oh,
of stuff to
honey.
beat
So
people
I
with.
was sitting here on Monday and I heard her before I saw her, and she just sounded like a lovely old Tanny.
it'd be those
She did,
ones.
but
It'd
like
be
she-
those ones, bro.
She didn't sound like she looked at all. I'm not saying she looked bad, but she looked different, right? She looks like the kind of woman that would offer you another rusk with your coffee, and then she comes in with the bats.
She did. She did.
that's
Some
how
people-
she gets you, ho.
yeah, shame she was
And then
sweet.
once you're like, oh, thank you so much. You're so lovely. She's like, would you like a spanking with that?
That is that was just strange, guys, for me.
So Sandile, first of all, how's the show going for you guys? Are you having
Amazing.
lots of fun? 10 episodes in?
It's been amazing, especially coming into the second half of the year. A lot of sports to watch. EPL is back, so
Back.
we're about to be ruined for the past next 9 months. 11 guys who get overpaid about to ruin our lives for the next 9 months. So yeah, it's
Man
going to be an
United fan,
exciting.
that's where it comes from.
And I support Man United. I feel like
Shame I was hoping to leave that Man United stuff out, but it's okay. You brought it up. So
it's exciting.
I
Time,
mean, actually, you couldn't have started the show at a better time because there's so much going on. There's so much to watch. There's so much to talk about. South Africans are sports obsessed. We know this. And you've been sport obsessed for a while, but that's not your whole story. So, I mean, for people who don't know you, because you've been in events, you've done a whole lot of interesting stuff in your life, just give us a little snapshot, little summarized CV so that those who are encountering you for the first time this morning can find out a little
I
bit
don't
about
even know this. I just asked him about sports, and then
Yeah.
we became
Ben,
friends.
this is the first time Ben's going to hear it anyway.
So my life has been pretty colorful. 18, went to Wits, studied law, did my LLB, did my postgrad in law, did my articles. Then,
Hectic.
what do you know at 18?
Well, you knew a lot more than me. I never finished law, never did my articles. My parents still can't believe they wasted all that money on a degree.
Even worse. So, like, I tell my parents after my articles that I hate this thing.
Oh, what did they say?
They're like, go figure it out. But my parents are super supportive. And then I got into marketing and eventing. Me and my friends started an events company called Until back in the day. And, we did it.
That's where I first heard of you.
Yes.
Until you guys did some pretty awesome events.
Thank you.
And I mean, it's incredible how everybody always says, you've got to go and get a degree so that you can practice law or you can be a doctor, or you can be an engineer. But the old idea of university was that you went there to learn about a whole bunch of things and then do whatever you wanted afterwards. And you kind of prove that. I love examples like yours because you get out of there and everybody will assume that you're now going to go and work in one of these firms here in Sandton. These big buildings.
And I did it and it sucked.
Like a wage slave, right?
Yes.
Because those people, when you see those lights on at night, it's not because they've forgotten the lights on. It's because some poor son of a bitch is working.
Yeah. So that
drafting
was
stuff.
So that was the first part. I just recently left Until got in a new adventure. So that's me and my little 34-year life journey. Apparently, I'm still a baby. I'm almost.
How many children around the world that you don't know about?
0. I don't have any children
That you don't know about?
I'm 100% sure.
That are
My
somewhere else.
girlfriend's watching the show, so 100%
Okay, just
0.
checking. All right, I'm just checking. All right. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
so that's
Because
me.
Ben has one or two, he just doesn't know where.
hectic, babe.
That's also a lie.
But it's okay. You know how you can tell Ben's children?
No.
They're still inside the mum because they got big heads like Ben. They can't get out.
Ben, I thought I was bad.
Yeah, well, I got to come back from that.
All right. And other than that, I mean, it always strikes me as interesting when you meet people who are massive sports fans, because I'm not. And I know South Africans who are not big sports fans, we get looked at funny.
Yes,
Right.
definitely.
If you were invited to Loftus, you would go.
100%.
Ben would go. Simpiwe would even go.
Yeah, for the vibes.
Yeah.
Not for sports.
But I would actually, I would tell people, and I have been offered these things before, I'd say, give it to someone who deserves it. I was once invited to the Monaco Grand Prix, and I said, you're wasting your time. It would be a waste of money on me. Give it to someone who deserves it.
You went to a Lakers game.
I did.
See, you went to. I'm a big Lakers fan.
And he was there going,
What is happening?
so boring.
No, I had an argument with Star Jones. Do you remember her?
Yes, you had an argument. GC,
Yeah.
what are you actually doing in
So
your real life?
I went and sat down courtside at the. It was the LA All-Star game actually, and the Lakers played afterwards.
Yep.
And it was really cool. I was there with Azania
No, don't.
Musaka.
nice.
Yeah.
And she can back me up on the story because I said to Azza, let's go and sit right at courtside. We don't have tickets for it. Our tickets are up there. but we're going to go and sit there and see what happens because there were all these celebrities pulling in. So she and I sat down, and Star Jones, who was at that point, I think, on The View.
Yes.
She came and sort of, excuse me, you are in my seat. So I was like, oh, I'm so sorry, but my wife, and I point to Azza, my wife thought these were our seats. She goes, oh, that your wife? And, Star Jones is this much bigger than Azza. So we had a bit of a argument, and then eventually some guy came around and he's like, excuse me, you can't sit here. So we got up and left. But I did meet Jack Nicholson at the same game.
Yeah.
Hunter S. Thompson was there because he was still alive. There were a couple of really cool people.
Yeah.
And I didn't enjoy the basketball, but what I learned about Americans. No, I know. I mean, it's
crazy.
What can I say? I'm not going to lie and pretend
That's
I love
the easiest
stuff.
sport. You just got to put something in a hoop. That's it.
I know. And there were moments where it was fun. Don't
Cool.
get me wrong. But what's amazing about Americans is they make it entertaining no matter what you are, no matter who you are, no matter where you come from, no matter how much you care about the basketball. Because they've got this camera that will, between the guys getting the shots ready or whatever, they will focus on a couple, and then the couple will kiss, and then everybody in the audience claps for them, and then they'll zoom in on some famous movie star, and he'll go like this, and they'll all clap for him, and then they've got dancers, and they bring on Alicia Keys at halftime to sing.
Yeah,
there's so much going on that you actually can't get bored.
Yeah,
and I think we've got a bit better at that. In
still
South
sounds
Africa.
better.
yeah.
I mean, you reckon Loftus is still better than that? Really?
Look, no, I'm not going to agree with you on that bit.
No. So, Sandile, I mean, doing this show is the most difficult part of it, Ben?
Most probably.
No,
There used to be with.
I think it was managing my starstruckness when Brian O'Banner walked in.
Oh yeah, you guys.
I think
You were a major fanboy.
Yeah.
That was
He
funny.
was basically speechless.
I was like, that's probably the most my most cringeworthy episode, because I probably said nothing for the first 30 minutes, and when I spoke, I asked the completely wrong question. Ben looked at me and said, "How are you throwing us off the script?" So that was that was something else. I can't even watch that episode.
Well, it made it dynamic in itself that you went right to the final feature of the show with your first words. Yeah, but I mean, that's just how it goes.
You got to
gotta roll
forgive
with
me on
these
that
things.
episode, guys. Jeez, it's Brian O'Banner. He's the greatest, one of the greatest South Africans. So yeah,
I think that there's nothing better, and this is why I love the show that you guys are doing, than people who really care about the thing they're talking about.
Yeah.
You can't beat that. Doesn't matter how much you know, doesn't matter how polished you are. I've met broadcasters and media people who are really professional looking and sounding, but they don't care about what they're talking about. And today in Pyongyang, several people ate their dogs.
that's crazy. They
Don't
should
care.
say that.
But if you guys talk about stuff that you really care about, and they do eat their dogs in Pyongyang, I promise you. It's all there is to eat.
Venezuela as well, also quite big
Yeah.
into the dog.
Yeah, communism plus dog
thing,
eating,
yeah.
they go together.
Dogs fear communism, and for good reason.
You find a dog will dislike communism more than a human. That's true. But when you guys talk about this stuff, I can't help but getting excited about it. I gave Ben credit last Friday because he got me into the Olympics. I'm still talking about it.
Yeah.
And I feel
So am I.
everybody in the audience is at some point going to go, shut up, because I can't stop. But I never cared about the Olympics before. I watch a bit of your show.
Yeah.
And I'm like, shit, now I'm excited about Drickus on tomorrow morning at 5 a.m., 4:30?
So Sunday, the main card starts at 4 a.m. So
Sorry,
you're looking
Sunday.
at about a 6 a.m. fight.
Okay. Are you waking up?
I'm definitely waking up. It's one of those South African moments. I mean, Springboks are playing the day before. You got two Springbok legends walking him out, and he's the most South African guy in the world. He actually loves his country, and he's never a polarizing character. He just wants South Africa to be South African. It's full ability. So I love Drickus and what he stands for, and he's actually just an athlete. He doesn't come with any chaos.
I don't know. I mean, you guys have been trying to organize an interview with him for ages. I just want to say to
Way
his
to put it out
management.
there, GC.
I know his
appreciate
management.
you.
Listen. These two will give him the nicest interview, and he'll have the most fun. So do the right thing.
Thank you.
I even had to talk to them on WhatsApp the other day, and I mean, they were like, "What are you asking us about Drickus for?" It's like, get him on the show. All right, who's the ultimate guest for you guys right now? It would be Drickus, but ultimately, who would you love?
I'll go first. My ultimate guess is Gaten McKenzie.
I was gonna say Gaten.
How? Lord Gaten.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Gaten is very important right now.
He's the MD of Sports South Africa.
Yeah,
Mm.
we both agree on that. That the number one guy we want to get in now is Gaten, just to see where he's gonna take South African sports. Everybody else, yes, we did Brian Obana, but Gaten McKenzie right now, if you're watching, please.
So I'm going to share something which isn't going to come across very nicely, but I would rather speak to Sandile than I would speak to 95% of anyone in sport right now.
I know that.
So
I
it's
know
quite
this,
difficult for me to go, we're going to get someone in here, we're going to ask questions, because outside of Drickus and maybe a few other people, I'm not going to name names here and be either nice or horrible.
Yeah.
But you know what they're going to say, because they've only got so much, it's like a little window you talk about. It's quite difficult to get the further conversation.
But they coached to be as boring as possible, right?
And there's interviews of them out there where you can get the same kind of thing. The whole thing with the On the Bounce show is that you can get here. If you watch one show a week, it's everything encompassed in that one place. If we interview someone who you've seen before somewhere else, it's just basically us repackaging a piece of content. So we want to have smaller features and create different things, but the actual long sit down guests, there won't be too many of them.
I'll speak. I'm seeing Gaten on Thursday next week. I will tell him to come on your show.
Thank you.
That is
That's
all
very
you
nice.
needed.
You
Thank
guys
you so
really
much.
appreciate it.
I gotta say,
Sometimes you need a get up in your life.
what I
All the
love. Well, yeah, I'm booked for an interview with him anyway, but I'll pass it on to you guys because I think he's got lots more to talk about in his new role with you than he would with me. I also think what I love about this guy, because people were a bit half and half about him. I've never seen anyone do what he's doing, like the fitness stuff that he's trying to do to get into shape.
Yes.
Like every Wednesday on that scale.
I have such respect because I know how hard it is to lose weight. I know how hard it is to wake up in the morning and go, I don't want to do it, but I'm going to have to go to gym.
Yeah.
And when you're a minister and you've got so much other stuff going on, it's easy to say I'm too important and that's not a priority and all that shit. But you know what the nice thing about that is it's like no one else can take credit for it if you do it.
Yeah.
And you must take the blame if you don't.
Yep.
It's like a total accountability, which is the opposite of what we see with politicians.
Yep.
When you have someone who is accountable, you're like, wow, look at this guy.
Yeah, and for me, like
it's not just a shit talker. You know?
For me, a true passion for his portfolio that he's showing for it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to talk badly about the last sports minister, but we can see where he is now. So true passion for what he wants to do, and he has a direction, and he's super aggressive about what he wants to do. So I'm really excited about that.
That's exactly what you said, Gareth. When someone shows they care about something, it's a really cool trait. It's a really cool thing to show the world.
And also, it turns out that the people who really hate Gaten, like the journalists that hate him, the political commentators that hate him, are exactly the people I don't like. So therefore, I like him even more.
Yeah,
that's also been confirmed for me as well. The people that give him shit, it's like, I always forget. I actually like this person.
Absolutely. Okay, so you called yesterday in the show. You talked about elite violence.
Yes.
Let's just explain this to us.
In the sense of rugby, they're trying to change all these rules. They're trying to, of course, nobody wants to be a vegetable and wear an adult nappy. So the head contact is obviously being monitored.
Yeah.
But there's all this talk around how you want to get the game faster and running. And the Boks are going, cool, have that, but we're still going to blitz in the cuck out of you.
Yep.
And because they're going to keep doing that, they'll
we even have a guy called Murat in the team.
Murat, the captain this weekend. He's got Murat in his name.
Murat.
That's what you know. And it's about being purposeful what you do. The Australians don't have elite violence. They just play around a bit and like tap each other's asses afterwards. And look at them now. And I think from like school kids onwards, it's something that we can learn the most from high-level professionals.
Yeah.
It's not about everyone getting a chance. It's about everyone being damn violent. And when you can do that on the field, you don't do it loosely as a human. So I think we should respect violence a lot more. And I think as we see with the Springboks and Drickus, they've made it their calling card, but off the field, absolute gents and very well behaved.
I think that's a good way to put it.
So I like elite violence because it makes you focus on why you must have it.
You can see why this guy loves MMA. You can definitely see why Ben
Yesterday I spoke by myself for about 8 minutes. It was weird.
It was a weird intro.
Sandile just sat there.
That was a weird intro. I said, Ben, 8 minutes. We're like, we're trying to cue you off of that topic. But yeah, that was crazy.
I even cut myself short. I got into a rhythm where it's just like, I love it so much because, and I want other people to love it like I do.
Yeah.
Sandile, what's your favorite sport and what do you love doing when you're not?
For me, I've become, and it's a weird thing. Please don't judge me. I'm so into paddle now. Like
Really?
Oh, wow.
guys, it's
Another
elite
one
the most.
bites the dust.
it's I invited Ben through. So I'm elite there. My favorite
Where do
sports
you
is
play?
Everywhere.
everywhere.
Oh, anywhere there's a paddle
Everywhere,
court you play.
anywhere there's a court. I'm
How
that
often
guy.
are we talking
Like
like?
weekly, at least
That's like
3
you
times
spend
a
more
week.
time on AstroTurf than pot plants.
Yeah, I'm just like I'm really in love with that sport. So that is really my thing right now. My favorite sport right now. It's always
Okay.
a split between basketball and soccer. That's why when you said, you went to the Laker game, that's probably one of my biggest goals to do before I turn 35, which is next year. And
sneaky little age confirmation there. Out of
I'm not ashamed of it. And then basketball and soccer, and Man United for my sins, and Kaizer Chiefs even worse for more of my
Wow.
sins. So,
Yo,
Great.
you like
Chiefs,
pain.
I love
Yo,
pain.
you like pain.
Chiefs.
Hey,
Pray for me,
Sandile.
guys,
Guys,
pray
he
for
has
me.
he has cut the Proteas out, so give
Yeah.
him credit for that because that would be
yes,
the
and I
trifecta.
happen to support the Proteas as
You
well.
are a
serial
walking
chokers.
red flag when it comes to sports.
No,
Like, what?
Is that a Man United quip?
no, I'm consistent. I can get through anything.
Sure. I mean, those are the teams you chose, hey? So Chiefs.
Don't even get me started.
Yo. Okay.
Uh,
I haven't met someone who's brave enough to say they're a Chiefs fan
I've got to do it, guys.
for the
You
last
know,
couple of months.
it's terrible. We're not even in the top 8. We're not even playing MTN. It's like just an emotional roller coaster. But life has
And you
ups and
still
downs.
support them.
I've
You?
got to support them. Because
So
when we go back
we've
up,
been through this. You got to find a man who supports a mid-range football
Yeah.
team because that
Remember,
shows loyalty.
Ben gave you a stern lecture the other day
if
about
you know anybody who supports Man City and you're willing to go out on dates with anybody who supports Man City,
Then you're
you're
the
in
red
some
flag.
trouble. That is the reddest of red flags.
Yeah. It actually makes you a red flag
Yeah,
for once to
wallah.
consider that. My new boyfriend, he's a
Jesus.
Paris Saint-Germain fan.
Talk about shifting the plane.
Yeah, please. Don't do that. That you just run away. Same
Trust
time.
me, if you're on the show for more than 5 minutes, you got to learn how to shift the blame.
Yeah, you
Otherwise,
gotta shift
it
the
will
blame.
pile up on you, and you'll just
Not
become
on
only
this show. Yeah, yeah.
eroded.
On this show, it's basically as much shit as you can throw at the other people on the show. That's how long you'll still be around.
Yeah.
It's very, very good. Okay, so what kind of things do you do besides watch and play sport and love sport and run the eventing business up to a short while
Yeah.
ago? Like, what other things do you do for fun?
Oof, serial party goer.
Oh,
No.
nice. Okay, so
Still,
this is
it was
good. I need to ask you some questions then,
yeah,
because
go
because people always say to me, "Where do you go out in Joburg?" And I don't know anymore because I'm not cool enough to go to the right places. And frankly, I
Don't
stay at
want
home.
to.
yeah, I stay at home. I mean, Simpiwe was disgusted in me. We went to this awards dinner last night, and 5 minutes into it, I just got up. I was sitting next to her.
Yes.
I got up. I was like, no.
You're out of here.
He's like, I've had it.
So you didn't
Gone.
stay and get drunk like James.
No.
Hammers, and they woke you up
No,
so
no.
early.
Listen, don't, it's not a statement that I didn't think the awards were cool or the reason for us to be there was cool. I'm just not good at, you learn very quickly what you're not good at. But the question was,
Guys,
where do you go?
I find that so weird because, and I don't want to expose my age. At matric
on.
grade,
Oh, wow.
you were the headliner at matric grade.
That's more embarrassing for me than it is for you. But that, no, because I mean, in those days, I
You're
was
a
also,
world famous Game Clip DJ.
yeah,
That's-
but
you've
you
lived
know,
so
can
many
I tell you
lives,
what?
GC.
When you're the DJ, you have something to do.
Right.
So you can look like you're cool and you come in and you play some music and people are like, woo, you're the DJ.
Yeah.
That was at the time, right?
Yeah.
When DJs
Actual
were,
quote when Gareth got onto the stage.
woo, the DJ, whatever. And then, but you're doing something,
Yeah.
right? And then when you finish doing that, you stay for a while and you have some drinks with people, you meet people and everything,
Yeah.
but you've got something to do. I'm not good at standing around.
And
I don't know what to do with that.
yeah, so just to go back to your original question,
Where do you go?
There's a lot of places to go to. I used to go to the Royale a lot. I used to, yes, the nightclub scene is still very.
I hear
popping.
Onyx is still good.
Onyx, Louis, Alicia and Stefano just opened a new club called Louis.
Yeah.
So like I am, some of my friends are big DJs, so I just follow them gig to gig and drink their riders. And
Beautiful. That's a good man.
living the South African dream.
No, but dude, that's so. How old are you now?
34.
Okay, no, there's nothing better to be doing.
Yeah, so
I don't care what anyone says. people are like, no, you must start being serious at this age or that age.
No, I'm already serious
have,
enough.
Have the fun, please.
Yeah, so super sociable guy. And family person first. I love my family, my siblings, probably most attached to my siblings. My sister just flew out to Florida now. She's studying aviation in Florida.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
My stepdad was the first black captain at SAA. So
okay. Now that's an interesting thing.
You should lead with that.
yeah. So like
Give him time, some people.
I was leading up to it, So my little, law degree at Vinci, they were kind of like, go for it. And then when she became a pilot, it was like the biggest thing.
That is very cool.
Yeah. So
a friend of mine is actually a pilot, and we're doing a farewell for him on Saturday because he's about to go and fly for an overseas airline.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And for your sister to be, I know how much work that is.
yeah, it's incredible.
And expensive, by the way. To get the hours is expensive.
Yeah.
So I think it's very, very cool that that's what she does.
Yeah, it's
and
awesome.
especially as a woman.
Yep.
Because there aren't that many women pilots.
Yeah.
And most guys, when they see a woman in the cockpit, they're like,
I still haven't got into a plane with her. She's invited me so many times.
oh, you haven't?
I'm too scared.
Oh, that's not a great endorsement.
No, I'm too
That's
scared.
not a great
No, for
endorsement.
me, no,
See,
for
people are
me.
side-eyeing you.
It is my little
That was
sister.
such a beautiful story, and so I was like,
I
"Yeah,
think you
I'm
can
not
keep
going
quiet
to it."
now. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
sorry.
It was great having you on the show. After that,
Did I go left to the
In fact,
one?
Sandile, when you were saying, "Oh, yeah, I'm really proud. I love my family," and then the violin music was starting to play,
And
and
then I
everybody's
went
building
left.
up to a swell. They're like, "Oh, we love this guy. He's a family guy," and then you're like, "Well, I won't fly with my
No,
sister."
I was just scared. Not like it's my little sister. I mean, she's like 24, so like it's weird for me.
Nico says Sims is definitely feeling last night. Give her a break. She doesn't get to go out on a Thursday very often. I don't mind. You know what I said to James and Flex?
Yeah.
Because I got in here and I could see they were all like bloodshot eyes. But I remember doing that.
Yep.
There were nights where I went out and I would do my morning show the next day and I was still drunk.
But you pushed through.
Yes, but the audience knew. Everybody knew. We all knew. And I said to them, I would rather have them come here and sleep like homeless people under the desks. As long as they switch the show on,
You're good to go.
and at 8 o'clock when the show finishes, they can go back to sleep under their desks.
Yes.
But they must just make sure that happens. Because otherwise, if we get into trouble with these people in the comments section, it'll be just
well,
hell.
you haven't done morning radio until you actually have done that.
Yeah,
Really?
I think that's true. Have you not ever got to the office
Everyone's
the next
pulled over.
morning?
Oh, I've got like a crazy story when I was doing my articles. There used to be a club in Monte Casino called Centauri,
Uh-huh.
and it was a Thursday night. It was always Thursday nights.
Always. Puza Thursday.
And so me and my colleagues went out, and they called it a respectful time. They said 2 a.m. I was like, no, I'm still having a good time. I thought I could beat 4 traffic. I left at 5.
Ooh.
The traffic ate me up till like 7. I got home and I'm like, let me just shower and go to work. I smelled
Oh, my God.
like something ridiculous. And I think I only worked for like 2 hours, passed out on my desk. I'm surprised I made it out that day. Thank God,
So here's the real reason for the exit of law.
Yeah. No, I made it. I did it until the end. And
No, dude. Everybody.
first
I love
jobs are
this.
crazy.
Who did anyone catch you out? Did anyone walk
Oh yes,
past?
definitely. Like because there's like 4 or 5 of us who just were like, let's just find a way to get through this day. And no work was done that day. And thank God my boss at that time was super understanding, and he had his own set of problems. So he also walked in at like 12. I was like, thank you, Jesus. So yeah. Oh, first job, guys. Please, just find a way to be disciplined, man.
No. We all have to learn this way. Everybody. You've pitched up for work?
So I remember a while ago, you invited me to this idols
was
party.
like 10 years ago.
No,
Idols
much longer.
parties,
Much
jeez.
longer. I was for some strange reason, I was becoming a personal trainer a long time ago. When I first met you, like a long time ago,
Yep.
and you invited me to this party after one of the idols things, and literally stayed out. So I went from the party with you all the way to 4:30 to the gym to open up, because I was in the morning shift.
And that's a great job to have to do when you're
Yeah.
hungover.
So you're there 4:30 until like
That's-
12:30, whatever it was, and that was a tough day. But of course, I was in my 20s; I could do it.
Yeah, so you know what, Nico, in the comments, don't give Simpiwe a hard time. You've done it too. I see Bitcoin Bot says, try working with a hangover in a hot kitchen.
Oh my God.
Ooh, that's hard.
No.
Apparently,
Hope you survived.
hey, Gareth, what do you call a black guy who flies a plane, says Carl DeSantos? A pilot, you fucking racist.
Is that what happens on the show?
Yes.
On this show.
It's Carl. He's
Oh,
got
yeah.
lots of friends.
You haven't been. Mapelo says white privilege, Sandile. See,
Oh,
this
heck
is how
no.
we go.
Jesus, how you start your mornings?
Yeah, this is
Jeez,
it.
all
This is
right.
how we start.
My crowd,
it's very chilled.
our crowd, pretty chilled. Jeez.
Super
This
chill.
is chilled.
Yeah, I remember once I went out partying with some friends, and I got home, I don't know, about 4 or 5 a.m.
Yeah.
You know, in those days you could pull like an all-nighter, and you didn't die of a hangover the next day.
Yeah.
But then I forgot that I had to go to a funeral.
That's
Now, do you know, like when you're in the funeral, the
Yeah.
black stuff, and it was the middle of summer.
And you're sweating it out.
Yo, dude, but it's okay at a funeral because you disguise it because people think you look like shit because you're really sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you go,
Grieving.
oh, so terrible, and you're like, sit down,
Yeah.
and you need to take a moment in the shade, and you're like, I'm feeling so bad about
like
this
you said,
person. I
distraught.
loved him so much. Meanwhile, you're just really hungover. Yeah, very bad. Ooh, that's deadly, says Barely Vocal Media. Yeah, I mean, listen, there's some situations you just don't want to find yourself in. And in those days also, it was before Uber.
Yep.
So there was a lot of driving.
A girl DUI, as they would say.
Big time.
Yep.
Big time. Yeah, listen. I've been at a buffet, says Slippery Pickle. It worked like that. Not easy to blame snoring on the rotisserie. No, that's not great. And also, if you pass out in the food when you're hungover or drunk, and you start drooling all over everyone else's food, that's not
Might
such a
have
good
an
idea.
extra
That's not good.
tang to it.
Yeah, exactly. Not the one that you asked for, right? Trying to stay awake, taking people on a game drive was difficult, says Nico. Now, that is horrible.
No, that's horrible.
Because if something goes wrong, can you imagine the game drive and he's fumbling for his rifle because there's a buffalo
But
about
doesn't
to like...
that sober you up? Like in moments
For a
like that
moment.
where you're like, this is life and death.
I was-
The alcohol just goes gone.
I'm feeling you on that. I'm like, imagine now the elephant now coming. You better sober up, bro.
I think so.
Yeah, you better sober up and
I
reverse
think
the car, brother.
you get a fright and you're
Yeah.
like, Jesus,
I'm
I gotta...
putting it in reverse.
No, that's very good. That time that you wish you were in the coffin, says Christoph. Exactly. All right. There's some other things I wanted to talk about this morning while we've got both of you here. And some of them have to do with sport. But you did talk a lot about the sports that should and shouldn't be in the Olympics. And I know that the LA Olympics is now starting to come together and they're saying which sports are in and which are out. So we had this conversation on Wednesday on this show and just said things like cricket and tennis and rugby and soccer, they shouldn't be in the Olympics.
Why?
Yeah, I think
It takes too long.
so.
Cricket for sure shouldn't be there.
No
Cricket's
way.
coming in at LA, so
Right.
that'll
Oh, it
because,
is.
because
Yeah,
you
it
know
is official,
because
yeah.
because America's just had that T20 World Cup, which we completely choked the crap out of in the final
Yeah.
again, because they want
To go
cricket there.
sport, yeah.
So now
Yeah.
they're popping it into the LA games, and I get it because sometimes you need TV rights and all this kind of stuff. Lacrosse is coming in because they love lacrosse in America.
Yeah, that's huge.
Just explain. That's the one where you
with the
with the net.
yeah,
With
that
the
one.
it's basically Harry Potter without the flight.
Quidditch.
Right.
It's Quidditch,
Quidditch.
but on the ground.
wow.
Yeah.
And like all those Ponzi college kids play it, so it's a big deal.
Okay.
But they got baseball and softball coming in.
I think
Yeah.
that's going to be pretty big.
So where I'm going with this is that each country has their own sort of like almost indigenous beliefs in a team sport, whatever. So that's why it's coming in. I can't see those sports doing well.
Outside of LA.
So afterwards is Brisbane. They might turf that, but then you might get some backward Aussie team sport, like maybe
AFL.
Is the boomerang? Is the boomerang not a thing?
No.
bring in frisbee.
Yeah.
All I can say is bring in frisbee.
Frisbee would be cool.
Ultimate frisbee would be a great
I
sport
mean,
to
how's
bring
it
in.
different? It's discus, but it's just lighter.
Come on, guys.
Look,
Let's respect some discus.
Well, the thing is, like frisbees, if netball was cool, netball's not coming in, and I know I'll be attacked in the comments about this.
Yes.
Netball, yeah. So frisbee, you have the same concept in that you run around, you catch it, and you throw to someone who dares to run and get it. So it's actually a really cool sport to watch.
I
You would love
agree,
it way
and
more if you
everybody's played it.
Yeah, no, I'm against frisbee guys.
And
you're against-
whatever you try.
Ladies and gentlemen, the most important
What if you threw a
thing-
border collie in there, Cynthia?
Yeah,
What if you threw a border collie in? Would frisbee be
Let
in?
us just say that if we've learned anything this morning, it is that Sandile is against frisbee.
Frisbee.
All right.
That's what guys.
Most
and
important
break
thing.
dancing. Break dancing.
So that's
No, what
that's
you
out.
mean? Don't
Ah,
kill my dream.
that
Don't
Australian
kill
woman.
That
my
Australian
Australian
dream.
woman.
finished the
Hey,
sport.
hey, even me, I can be an Olympian now. Hey, stop it,
She
okay?
butchered it.
Even me, I got it, okay? My addition. Come on, let's go. Woo! Let's go.
Yeah.
What do you need? To the left.
Simpia's
To the right. Come
definitely
on.
drunk. Okay. All right. Listen, it's 7:00. We got to take a break. We'll be back in a moment. Sandile and Ben and Simpia and I are all here to look after you with our two drunk producers, James and Flex. What a fun morning. Why the?
So, Wandi, tell us what to expect on the Auto Trader stand.
So similar to last year, we're going to have an activation at the pits, as mentioned. So we got 3 pits between pits 38 to 40. And for anybody who's coming to the festival, you can come through there and get some free hot laps. Got some really exciting cars this year. Got some Porsches, some Supras, some modified cars.
If you
And
wait in the queue, please don't fight with
Yeah.
other people.
don't fight me. Don't
Yeah.
fight me.
Please don't fight with us. The queue's going to be long.
It's going to be long, but we'll be having cars riding the entire time. So for anybody who wants a free hot lap, that's something that we do give. I know some exhibitors you have to pay, but we do it for free. On top of that, we're also going to have a few challenges and activities for anybody who comes to the stand.
Catch us every Monday at 9 a.m. on YouTube and on autotrader.co.za.
Hey you, it's me, that little voice in your head. Something doesn't fit with your medical aid, and I've got to speak up. Doesn't it bug you to have zero control over your day-to-day savings? What if it's not enough or too much, but you're still forced to pay for it? Nah, something is off. Do yourself a favor and check out Fed Health. They let you control your own savings and how you pay for it. Now that's how medical aid should be. Remember, fedhealth.co.za.
Good morning. It is Friday. The weekend is here. It's going to be a big weekend for sport, which is also why we've brought in our two sports gurus on the show this morning. They're both the co-hosts of On the Bounce, which if you haven't subscribed to and joined up for and liked and watched yet, you're missing out. I mean, South Africa is full to the brim of sports fans, and we try to bring you the absolute best. The thing you'll get from this show that you'll get from nowhere else is honest commentary from people who also have a sense of humor. They make sport interesting, even for someone like me. I watch their show because it's damn fine. I don't watch it because I have to. And if you do like sport, you'll absolutely love it. And if you don't like sport, you'll absolutely love it. That's the point of it. They are Ben Karpinski and Sandile Shangase, and they're both here this morning.
What
Kicking
an intro.
ass.
That's a great
Kicking
intro.
ass and taking numbers.
James, can you
You
cut
get
that,
that
please?
clip. Yes,
James,
James.
now-
Cut that clip, bro.
Now, gentlemen, before we get into the sport, because
Yes,
we
sir.
actually do have to do some sport this morning.
Yep.
I know we've been talking very generally. I do see Simpiwe has got her hangover cure in her Stanley Cup, but this is a big deal. About
It's about time.
so Sims was talking about this. Must have been like last year already.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So last year already, she told me about these things that every housefrau in America is going crazy for. Every soccer mom in America has got a Stanley Cup just
Yep.
like that.
Mm.
And she's been looking for one, and they're expensive as hell.
Yep.
And this happened. Have we got that clip? This happened in the office the other day, because this office is always full of exciting and new things. When she isn't passing out, then this is happening.
That's crazy.
Okay, take a look.
Ooh, unboxing.
They're the interns in the background.
Whoa. That's outrageous.
Looks like a dish house. What? Looks like a. Wait, what?
Wow, she almost ended up in the other office.
Something terrible happened. Look how happy she is.
Where did that come from?
Coming like
We'll
that's
take that.
animal leaf.
I thought there was a rat, because we once had a rat, because she was screaming, and I came out of my office. I'm like, what the hell's going on here?
The lack of composure is crazy.
But that was very sweet. So actually, it comes from James's mum.
Yes.
Ah,
My favorite human being right now.
what? Hey, we didn't say anything shitty about your mum.
Like, we
What
would
kind of people?
never.
What kind of
would
people
never.
do you think we are?
Drunks are so defensive.
Like, you know,
Just
You know what? You've had. This has been a great week for you. You got paddled on the ass on Monday, and now you arrive for work drunk on the Friday.
yeah, this has been
You know
a hell of a
what?
week.
Frankly, you leave your mum out of this. All right. Don't drag her into your mess, James. So yeah, she's your favorite person. 'Cause
yes, she made my dreams come true. I'm officially a Stanley owner.
I think
So
that's very cool.
What
that
goes
you
in there
love
on a
it.
day-to-day basis?
Yeah.
Just water
What
for
the-
now.
What is the
Um,
deal about this cup?
Okay, let me give you a quick rundown. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
So once upon a time last year, there was a lady who had a Stanley Cup. Her car caught on fire, and then someone was like, "Hey, check on your Stanley Cup." And when she did, the very next day, there was still ice in it. And ever since then, I've been like, "I'm a Stan."
So in other words, I mean, like you say Stan, but that's also become like the biggest fan
Yes.
of, which is funny because this was invented as just another vessel for drinking out of.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
after that incident that Simpi was talking about, where, I mean, the car caught fire and there was still ice in the thing. That's pretty impressive physics, if nothing else.
Yeah.
And I remember, didn't you tell me also that the Stanley Cup company, that they like bought her a new car?
Yeah, they placed
Yeah.
the car.
Well, of course, they
And-
set fire to an old one.
Yeah.
There's a marketing
There's a
stunt.
marketing
No wonder
stunt,
they
yeah.
bought her a new one.
But I like that you like it so
yes.
much.
So thank you so much to James's mom.
That's very nice. I think
And
it's
now I
lovely.
shall make a new request very soon on the
Ah.
show.
Oh, don't be that guy.
There's always
now.
a shopping
There we
list.
go.
There's
Doors
always
open now.
always a shopping list. Okay, Ben and Sandile, let's get into some sport for the
Yep.
weekend. We've already spoken about Drickus, but give us the lowdown.
All right, so obviously in Perth, that will be the right side of Australia. So that will be on the west side. That's where it's all happening this weekend.
Nobody ever said that line, but okay.
Ever.
No, it is, because
not a
otherwise it's
thing.
just so far away, but right there. So the main card will start at 4. The main fights will be around sort of 5:30, 5:45, around there. It all depends on the fights before.
Mm.
There's 4 fights before involving burly Australian men with funny names like Tai Tuivasa, who will be taking on Jairzinho Rosenstrike. Actual guy.
That's a real name?
That's a
Big
real-
heavyweight man.
Does he have a
Beautiful.
handlebar moustache?
He doesn't look like you think he looks. He's a big Brazilian man, I think.
Oh,
Then we got Matthias Gamrot versus Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker is from New Zealand, and he has seen some fights. Then we got Kai Kara France, also from New Zealand. He takes on Steve Ursak. Now, Steve Ursak looks like a 40-year-old virgin. I think he still lives with his mother. If you look at him,
And he's an MMA fighter.
he's an absolute killer. But this dude, you will not find a more working class, boring looking guy in your whole life. And when he talks, like he teaches kids how to box, but
Come
this
on, that's kind of sweet though.
put him in that cage. Wow. Yeah. So those are your fights you're going to look forward to before the main one. And then there it is. It is Dricus du Plessis versus Israel Adesanya. It is a fight that's been in the making for quite a while now. Adesanya hasn't fought in 10 months. He's taken some time off. In that time, Dricus became the champion. And then, well, Adesanya, he's like one of the few people in the sport ever who's dictated his career, as in he's chosen his fighters, he's plotted his path, and Dricus was on that path, and there he is. Now,
and there's a huge rivalry they've been building up as well.
It's legitimate rivalry, and I think it's Dricus' perfect time to fight this oak. He was the star when Dricus was coming up. And I think Dricus has all the attributes to really bliksem him and to really actually win. So when people say, oh, you know, it's just people being nostalgic or they're just being patriotic. No, I mean, when Dricus went into the Robert Whittaker fight, I knew he would win, but I didn't make a big deal of it because Robert Whittaker is incredible. Dricus cleaned him up. He then beats Sean Strickland, and he will beat Israel Adesanya this weekend because Dricus is one of the smartest fighters in MMA. Just a all-round performer. He packages his aggression in an interesting way that people then discredit him about. But the Soak is so smart. He's got a game plan for everything, and he's tough. He's so super tough, and he's got the Springboks walking him in and watching him. Do you think the Soak is going to step off at all?
No ways.
He will sooner die in that arena than lose or submit or anything.
The stakes are high.
Adesanya needs. I know he's been putting a lot of gym work in recently to try get into more dynamic states to take on Dricus, but the Soak's been lifting weights since he's been pushing his brother around since he was 4. Yeah. You don't just suddenly beat Dricus du Plessis. Yeah. The guy has not lost in 6 years. And he's now the complete package at the age of 30. So I think we can, as South Africans, be very excited and confident about this fight. Yeah. And even if you're not that much into MMA,
this is the one.
Said yesterday, this is the one to watch.
So I'll tell you about this man in the MMA. It's the fight. It's the fight. If you don't like UFC, this is the fight for you to get into UFC. I did it with the first Dricus fight. And you get into it, and it's it's just a nice brutal sport, which is wild like boxing. So even worse. But yeah, this is the sport this is the fight that you'll get into.
Tell me what the best way is to watch this stuff. What kind of, because it's not a normal time to be doing things. We're used to watching stuff in the evening where people have a few drinks, they have their friends around, they maybe have a braai. There's a lot of festivities at night. You can't do that at 6 a.m.
It depends what kind of a viewer you are. Yeah. If you're a shouty, screamy kind of person, let people know. Yeah.
Because otherwise they'll think there's domestic violence.
Yes. And the thing is, and that's another thing about being a South African fan, is that when you shout and scream early morning, especially if you live around Pretoria where you live, it might not be the best thing. So make accommodations for that.
Oaks will come with guns.
Yes. Yeah. So, but definitely it's going to be such a community thing. So get you and your friends to come together and watch it. And, you can start drinking in the morning. It's fine. It's our
It's okay. It's Sunday, right?
It's Sunday morning.
Would you be allowed?
You might miss church.
Fundisi, would it be okay if we miss church?
Why are you missing church? You see, this is when Satan is just working overtime now. Why are you missing church?
No, Dricus, it's cause of Dricus.
By the way, Simpiwe, there are a couple of people here who are saying there's definitely vodka in your Stanley Cup. Tabo says
after that break,
Sims is getting more drunk from what's in the Stanley Cup. Yeah. Conga Chris says, I call bullshit. There's vodka in that Stanley. All the soccer moms put vodka in the Stanley Cup. And Bitcoin Put adds this in. The Stanley Cup went bankrupt because they only marketed to men. Yep. One style of mug. Really? Then they rebranded with lots of colors and they attracted women and they saved the company. Went on a crazy stock rise.
And they set fire to that woman's car. Yeah, I mean, look, it's a great story.
And now there's accessories and stuff. Don't get me started with
like Crocs.
Stanley. Yeah, like you can put a thing, you can get a bag. People do a whole
you can probably get a UFC Stanley Cup.
That's cool. That would be great. Then maybe I might watch it.
So the UFC's actually made merch this weekend.
Really?
Rugby jerseys. They've made actual rugby jerseys for UFC 305. So Israel Adesanya was training with these rugby league guys, AFL guys, and then the actual rugby team came to his thingy, and they just hung out with him, and they had the jerseys and these little sign-offs. And it's so insincere because then Dricus is actually spending the evening with the entire Bok team. Folks playing music, hanging out.
Yeah, listen, there are a lot of South Africans in Perth, but I honestly don't think I'd ever want to go there. I do see Gavin says in the comments here, Perthfontein is going to be pumping this weekend. Perth is really, before that, was only really famous for being because Western Australia is not like
if
most
I told you I've been
Australians.
to Perth 3 times, it'd be wild, right?
You've been there three times?
Yeah, it used to be my dad's route.
There's the aviation background again.
It's the most. I've never been to Bloem. but whatever Bloom, it must
Yeah.
look like that.
That's
Yeah.
what I've heard.
That's
That's
how
what
I
I've
feel
heard.
Bloom looks
That's what
like.
I've
That's
heard.
what all the Springbok rugby players have always said. Basically, it's Bloom at the beach.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the only Australian that was famous in Western Australia before any of this started happening was Kevin Bloody Wilson, who used to sing a song that went, "I've had an absolute cunt of a day. Everything that could go did go wrong. So if I'm about to use the word cunt in a song, I've had an absolute cunt of a day." That was the most famous song
Such a great
in
musician.
Western Australia. And I promise you,
I need that.
Hey,
clip.
the Aussies.
that was the only thing anybody knew about Western Australia
Yeah.
before that. That was in the good old days when Australians were interesting.
Yeah.
Now they're all like soft and they arrest you for crossing the street at 6:05 and not 6:06.
Well, speaking of 6:05, 6:06, that was what the Aussies did to us last week when we played them at Brisbane.
Rugby time.
But this week in Perth, obviously, when I said we're on the right side of Australia, it's because of time zones. So 11:45, a much more hospitable hour.
Yep.
That beer's not going to just get you as much as it did last week.
Yep.
Aussies versus South Africa, the Boks have made 10 changes, to which the Aussies now think they've got a chance. But no, they don't have a chance, because I still don't think this Australian team is going to be good enough. We've got all our big names on the bench still. So if the 10 guys have come in don't quite cut it, Rusty can just ring the bell, on goes the bomb squad.
Now,
and
that
there
is
goes the Australian
that is
Sphinxes again.
6:05 Saturday night.
No, it's 11:45
It's
Saturday
11:45.
morning.
Jesus, I didn't pay attention. Okay, so
It's okay. That's what I'm here for.
so Sims, you don't have to worry about the missing church for that one.
It's the trickiest one. That's because
Yeah.
then also
Puppy-
they want to be like, hulle weet wat ons weet,
Trust me.
and you know.
The good Lord will be
They-
watching this
Well,
as well.
Puppy
This
says
is,
in the
this is our
comments-
church for a country.
Puppy agrees with you, Sims. Puppy says Satan is working overtime.
Yeah, bro.
The devil is busy, friends. I thought Sim's speech was slurred because of her head injury. No, she just had a
that
drink
is
last night.
Crazy.
She did. You guys weren't here on Monday when she fell and hit her head. We were all very worried for a
Oh,
little
shit.
while.
Actual head injury.
Yeah.
That's fine.
No, she did.
I'm a survivor.
Shut up.
All right. Well,
All right, so that's the rugby and Drickus.
I tell you who's trying to bounce back as well, and that's the All Blacks, because last week they got dicked versus the Argentinians.
Shit.
Now, the Argentinians were probably way more drunk than James and Flex combined for at least 4 days after this game.
Yep.
So the big question is, are they sober enough to make it 2 out of 2? They're playing at Eden Park. All Blacks haven't lost this since 1994. It's been 49 games in a row that they've won there. So I don't think the All Blacks are going to let this one slip. It'll be a tight game. They're not going to be the big bounce back as usual. But Argentina, great. They're doing great things for rugby now. Just because they're going there, not giving a shit about the All Blacks, and they're getting in their face, and they're getting violence with them.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful thing.
Bit of violence is called for.
Yeah.
It's what
Doesn't
we've learned.
hurt.
Elite violence, violence against New Zealanders.
Just
We
have
love
it.
favor.
It shows purpose. There's obviously going to be Curry Cup as usual. Friday tonight, the Pumas are taking on the Blue Bulls at 5:15. Saturday, Lions versus Western Province. Province have been so shite this week, this whole season.
Yep,
Actually,
terrible.
they're not going to make the semis at this rate. That'll be at 3.
Shame.
Free State Cheetahs versus the Natal Sharks. That'd be a really good game, because there's a good chance for the Sharks to see who they're going to pick in their team from next year, from the Cheetahs team, which is always tradition. That'll be at 5:15. And then Sunday, the Griffins versus the Griquas. But the most exciting thing, if you don't like the sports I've already mentioned, the start of the English Premier League.
EPL's back.
Especially
Okay.
Man United fans tonight.
Curtain
Tonight.
raiser tonight, 9 o'clock, guys. Buckle up, Man United fans.
Who are Man United playing?
Against Fulham. We're playing Man United against Fulham, but there's a big game as well on Sunday. We've got Chelsea, Man City, and Arsenal comes back.
So, Dilly, we tried to do Saturday, then Sunday. On the
I
show
know I
here.
jumped around, my bad. It's 7:30 in the morning.
No, that's
so-
okay.
So yeah, obviously that's the big game for Friday tonight, and then tomorrow Ipswich are new to the league, so
Yeah.
they'll probably just prance around for a few months and then go back down again. They'll be at home to Liverpool at 1:30. Liverpool without Jurgen Klopp.
Post-Klopp era. It's
The
gonna
Klopp
be
era is now done. That's another reason why James had a drink last night, because he
Yeah.
knows he's going into a new season with his team without Klopp.
All right.
So they're going to get Klopped throughout the season. Arsenal are taking on Wolves at 4. This is obviously Arsenal's season to win. They will be the champions. this year.
You're an Arsenal fan. So
And then Newcastle will be taking on Southampton at 4. And then Sunday, there's that big game. Chelsea versus Man City. That's the big one
Yeah.
for the weekend at 5:30. There's also a shit ton of golf, because it's now the FedEx Cup, so the best players in the PGA Tour now go to the final series. And if you really like cricket, well, the Proteas batted yesterday, all out for 160.
Oh my God.
That's only because numbers 10 and 11 got the highest score.
That's pathetic.
These
Don't
are
even get me started on the
they were
Proteas,
9 for
please.
97, and they were all up for
9
160.
for 97. This is why I hate the Proteas.
Yeah, but you hate the West Indies too, because West Indies are 97 for 7 themselves. So it was an action-packed first day. I've never seen something so anticlimactic as turning on the Test cricket last night. We've just had the Olympics. We've just had Rugby Championship start. We're getting excited about cricket. There's the EPL starting. And then there's just this game. It just looks like you're watching your mates or your uncle. Like there's no one in the stands.
Is there not a person that we can appoint to cricket to just make it more entertaining? I was talking about the NBA earlier, how they just make it fun for everybody. Like I just walk past the cricket and I want to fall asleep.
It's the SA20. We have that, but it's in January. And we have it for a small window. SA20 is amazing.
And that's super exciting.
And that's unfortunately what it is. So, too much of a good thing, unfortunately, where cricket is right now. And of course, we are endorphin hungry, sports going people. We just don't have time for West Indies versus South Africa.
See in the Twitter, our former sports guy when I still did radio, CS is in Perth.
Massive MMA fan.
Maybe
CS
we
has
must
been
talk
involved
to
in
him.
Drickus' career. CS worked at EFC for so many years.
That's right.
Oh, right.
I want my first ever talk about anything MMA related. I interviewed CS.
Really? And he's ginger, which means your standards were very low at the time.
Well, he was kind of the guy.
Yeah, you're
See us catching random strays.
possessed by demons.
So many strays.
Simpiwe, you got to
Strays.
watch out because the demons and the soulless people, straight
we
for the
apologize
gingers.
on behalf of On the Bounce.
So that's pretty much it to wrap up your whole sport. I mean, if you want to get excited on super bets this weekend, there are so many multipliers that are worth a bit of a punt. Personally, for me, New Zealand, Argentina, pick Argentina with a bit of a margin. I'm giving them 8.5 points. And then pick South Africa with a handicap. I'm going with them for minus 11.5, and I'm going for Drickus to win. And that'll give you a tasty little multiplier to put a little $100 on.
Okay.
And of course, if you are new to all of this, just use the deposit code OTB, and then they'll match.
More importantly,
match your sign up.
Can I just ask you, because you also have that burner phone account with your betting that you're doing there, and you're in a league or something.
Or with the Clipper That's Gold thing, yeah.
That's right. So how are you doing there? How are you doing there?
I've been
Not winning.
I'm not winning. I'm like, I keep on getting like the worst guys, and I got Willie LaRue, he got injured, and then I was just like, what is happening now?
I got a guy who got sent off. That's minus 50 points.
So
and I
so
was
I'm
excited.
Fundo won last week,
All right, well, gents, it's very nice to spend so much time with you on a Friday. I encourage everybody who has not already gone to check out On the Bounce that this is really, if this morning hasn't given you an idea of the kind of nonsense these two get to talk and have fun with, then you should be watching that show too, because it's like it's the right shot of adrenaline to get your week going. It's not like cricket in the West Indies.
Yep.
So there we are. Sandile, Ben, thank you both very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
You have an awesome weekend. I know you two have got an action-packed weekend full of good stuff.
Yeah.
Try not to do too much of this paddle stuff. I've heard it's very addictive.
Yes,
Well,
it is.
it's better than the paddle that James does.
No,
But you got into it for a while.
I did. And then I just
What happened?
realized that golf was better.
Okay, so Ben will never convince me of the golf. I'm sure you
never not convinced me. Never.
No. Okay, but there we are. So you've got your paddle. He's got his golf. Simpiwe's got his Stanley Cup.
Yes.
Which is not the Stanley Cup, the hockey Stanley
Yes.
Cup. Let's just be clear. It's that one that she's got full of
That was
vodka.
a very smart sporting reference there, Cliff.
Well done on
Yes,
that,
I
catching
know.
that one.
Even I know a little bit about little tiny bit about sport, and that's about it. That's all. That's the most sport I've ever talked about in one morning in my life. But thank you, James.
And look how happy you are as a result.
I know I'm a very
Flush in the
happy guy.
cheeks, happy.
Sport's a good thing. You know what's nice about sport, though, is you could talk about sport with anybody, and nobody needs to fight.
Yep. Well,
Until
better
people
than-
start losing.
before the EPL, that is how I felt. Come
Uh-oh,
Friday,
and
now
here's
it's-
where it gets derailed.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, guys. Lovely
Cheers,
to
man.
see you. There we are. Watch On the Bounce. It is live on Thursdays at 4 in the afternoon. You can also follow it on all the social media. And this weekend's a good weekend to get stuck in because they'll be doing all kinds of live stuff while the action's happening on screen. Very good. Okay, Sims.
Yabo.
Are you going to manage to fit in church this weekend? Because otherwise, bad things will start coming into your
I
life.
gotta pray to the good Lord that I'm still alive. Hallelujah. Won't he do it? Amen.
Yeah, we're a little bit worried about you this week. You got to get in there. You got to sing with your best voice this weekend. All right, a couple of other things that I thought were worthy of mentions this morning. And Simpiwe is going to tell us about Obama's summer playlist for 2024, which features a South African.
Yeah, boo.
Now, I don't know why we're still interested in Obama's playlist, but if he's got a South African in it, I'm all for it. We'll find out all about that.
Mhm.
We also have, just Ben, there's a live presenter audition
Oh,
before you run away. And you are looking for somebody to join the team. So just come in here quickly and just tell us about that before you run away. Oh, you're wearing green. Oh, yeah.
oh my God.
He's got so much Springbok attire on
yeah,
this morning.
like he's very
He looks like the team captain.
Let's go.
Just before you run away.
Go!
Yeah, just before you go. Like, just quickly give us the lowdown on what you're looking for here, because you're trying to find someone to join your team on the bounce.
Yeah, we're looking for a female features presenter. So what that'll be is that
Has to be a woman.
Has to be a woman.
Okay.
Not like that Algerian boxer.
Let's just keep let's get the auditions going first.
Okay.
So the idea being that Sandile and I have got the show as the base, right? But we want someone who's have like fresh insights and ideas. Not like Simpiwe's netball's a great sport, but we want someone that can basically be part of the show. We can film features with.
Is her audition over?
Yeah.
I was actually gonna try to do like a live audition for you right now. Just be like, we can talk about the Olympics. We can talk about the UFC.
The things that you told me about sport behind outside of the show, no, you're not. Okay, so seriously, it's like we want every single show to have a feature about something. So whether it's someone's take on Drickus, whether it's someone's take on
I can give you
why
a hot
netball
take
is
on
great.
Drickus.
So people, it can't be about you right now. See, again, you're throwing someone. People are watching.
All
Going,
right, but then, so it's open to any woman who's a big sports fan.
Yes.
We don't care if you have experience or qualifications. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for someone who's got passion and enthusiasm.
And could be part of our team. Obviously, we need to get along with you. So this month, in Women's Month, we are doing auditions. So literally on Instagram, just literally upload a clip of you. What could show value? So whether it's presenting a feature, whether it's presenting an idea, or whatever it may be, or just telling us about yourself. And then tag us onto our social media for On the Bounce the show. And then in September, we'll get the best of them. We'll put them in studio with us to see what the chemistry is like. And then in October, at the Red Bull show run, we'll have a first gig.
Nice.
As in, we'll go there. I'll film stuff and we'll be part of the team.
Awesome. And you can't just go on camera and go Hock tour. You have to actually say something. You have to have something to say, right?
No, you can't do that.
You know Hock tour.
And there's no identify. I mean, we'll identify as a successful candidate, so you can't just identify as a woman.
Oh, okay. So in other words, there's none of that.
None of that funny business.
I can't put on a wig and like fake tits and go, hi, I'd like to commentate about UFC.
Yeah, we're looking for the female perspective on a few things because I think it's the only thing our show lacks, and I'm very excited about adding someone who can be like that. So,
and it's not this is not in order to please politically correct people.
Oh, absolutely not.
This is because we want to make it even more interesting.
No, this is strategically the next step for the show.
Barely Vocal Media says staying abreast of the sports industry.
See, there we go. Yes, that's the spirit.
Okay,
we'll stay abreast more with a female presenter.
I like it. Very good. Excellent.
Maybe that's our tagline.
In fact, that could be the feature. It's like, and now, staying abreast with whoever. Okay, not going to be you, Simpiwe. Sorry, she's looking sad already.
Simpiwe, you got too much on the go already. That's actually the main reason.
No, I can do it. You can definitely be like, it's not DNA, it's RSA. And this weekend we have Drickus, who's going to be defending his title for the first time. And then we can also talk about how, the Olympics was just like very interesting and how like Ray Gunn has inspired everybody to actually become an Olympian. But
Ray Gunn, the breakdancer.
Ray Gunn's so last week.
I love her.
Can I just say that that person must be one of the very few performances at the Olympics that actually got a 0 all round.
Yes, and she has a PhD. That's what makes it so like flabbergasting. Is that she has a PhD in dance and breakdancing. Like, ma'am. But hey, you're not going to get fooled twice. We then can talk about the rugby and golf and whatever you want to talk about after that. You see,
whatever you want to talk about after that.
Come on.
Have you seen this week?
Okay, well, the other drunks in the studio think that's great.
Yeah,
this is those two. I think she would be great. You two remind me of all those people I've ever met at Bry's when you arrive a little bit later than everyone else and you walk in and they're already like 8 drinks in.
Yeah.
You're like, how's it, Gareth? And they smack you on the back like this. It's lekker to see you, eh?
Yeah, that's them.
You want a drink? No, I'm all right, huh? Don't you drink? No. I just arrived. Like, let me say hello to everybody. This fucking doesn't drink. Telling you, I've met people like those two before. Now they're my producers. This is so much fun.
So this week, video footage has come out of the woman that Reagan apparently beat in the trials, and she was brilliant.
Way better.
Yeah,
Yes.
way better.
Yeah. So
But also her husband, you see, that the backstory is that her husband is part of the association or federation of the breakdance thing. And you see, so there's been some
Reagan's husband.
Yeah.
That's shenanigans. There's cheating there.
You see, I actually know what's going on.
I'm not surprised
Give me
that
a
a woke
chance.
white woman with a PhD in breakdancing cheated. I'm really not.
Just saying.
I think that was probably one of the worst things I've ever seen. I'm sure the Olympics are embarrassed. They've removed it as a sport. Imagine being so bad at your sport that you get it cancelled for everyone.
Well, in fairness, it was only going to be for Paris, but it's easy to say after she's done her
She's
thing.
so
we
cuck,
blame Reagan.
She's so cuck. Have you seen there are people in Australia who've already made like things on the back of their car that do the moves that she was doing when the wind
Come on
blows?
now.
It's hilarious. Jesus, she's bad. I mean, listen, I can't dance, but fuck me, I could dance better than that. Yeah, anyone
You gotta
can.
love Congo Chris's comment. I'm leaving on that
What's that?
about James and Flex. They might be drunk, but once they got the audio right.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank
All
you.
right, very good. Yeah, she founded the association, says Christoph, and her husband was a judge.
You see,
Yes, that's bad.
corruption.
All right, I like it. She filmed a plea for people to stop harassing her family and hating. Well, you go on TV, you're going to get some hate. What did you think? Everyone is going to say how marvelous you were? I don't know. You know, people who want something and then when they get it good and hard, they don't like it anymore. I have no sympathy. When I was in the Eastern Cape a week ago, says Mapelo, I met a guy who was so drunk he couldn't even speak.
Hectic.
That's so great. I love it. Even Lizzo can dance better than that, says Sandile. Listen, Lizzo can move.
Everybody can move better than Reagan. Like at this point,
Reagan.
everybody.
I love that she's already got a nickname, Reagan. You know, if she was clever, she could turn this into a thing.
She should.
Like the Hawk Tour girl, she could become like you remember how when who was it that embarrassed themselves and they ended up with like gigs all over the place? People were hiring them to come and open up corporate functions.
Oh my word.
I mean, you could, if you were really smart and you were like Google or Apple or one of those, instead of having some boring speaker to tell you about, you know, motivation and stuff like that, you get this chick to do her Olympic dance at your corporate event, and then she teaches other people how to pull those terrible moves. I think it would be hilarious. I would be in for that. Be amazing. The Reagan story is a brilliant example of why we need a meritocracy, says Carl. That's correct. Absolutely. Lizzo would break the floor, says Bitcoin, but that's mean. I had a teacher who at school, she was overweight, but she was a dancer in her youth, and she moved beautifully.
Oh wow.
Like, you know, if someone learns to dance, I think she did ballet and all that kind of thing when she was a kid. But she was a big woman, but she just moved with grace. And she actually taught all the girls as part of one of the like shows that they did how to dance. And she could choreograph an awesome show. So Lizzo, the size of Lizzo does not preclude her from being a better dancer than Reagan. I would say I'd bet on Lizzo every day of the week and twice on Sundays before I would Reagan. Because as a non-dancer, as someone who dances like absolute shit, I'm not going to be criticizing Lizzo before. I mean, Reagan, we can all see that anyone could do better than that. Anyone. The trick is to never take yourself seriously when people are being mean to you. Look at that move. You see, my biggest worry with this was that people would think that was South African because our colors are similar.
Yes,
That was
also
my concern.
For a blink moment, I was
Yeah.
like, what in the Nkalakata is happening here? And then I was like, oh, okay, it's not one of our people.
Oh,
Okay,
man.
cool. Okay,
Yeah,
all
no.
right.
I hope she can turn it into a career, though. Because being shit, you should be able to make money too.
She's old, Gareth. She's 35, 36. She must let it go.
Old.
She's
Awesome. Then I'm already in the wheelchair.
no. Well, for dancing.
Yes, no, for dancing.
She
she's
must
way
let it
past-
go.
Yeah.
She must
Over the
just,
hill.
Yeah, please don't teach other kids how to dance.
That move is called the T-Rex, by the way. Put it up again. That's the T-Rex. There we go. That's the move. We should teach her pantsula, says
Yes,
Congo
I actually
Chris.
thought of what? This is a dance move back in the day. It was, yes.
Yes, we should teach her pantsula. That would be so funny, huh? That would
Yeah,
be great.
this is what we did in like 2000, the early
Yeah.
2000s.
She would be good at that. Maybe we'd help him a little bit better. Australia's green and yellow. We're green and gold. Ah, nice, Carl. Nice. I like it. Also, Lizzo will eat all the dancers and then she'll win as the only contestant. Sandile, you are
Stop
ungovernable this morning.
Stop it.
Ha, Sandile. All right. Quick other thing that I wanted to throw in before we wrap up the show for this morning.
Yeah, boy.
There's a tech firm that has had to apologize for hostess lampshade outfits. So I've got a picture of this. Let's just put that up first. Show everybody what this is.
Hi, boy.
So there you can see these two ladies. They're wearing these outfits. It's quite a sexy outfit. And then you can't see their heads and they've got like a lampshade on them. So the largest cybersecurity company in the US has apologized for using two women posing with company branded lampshades on their heads at a trade event in Las Vegas. Why, you may ask? Well, they were meant to draw attention to the Palo Alto Network sponsorship of a cyber risk collaborative happy hour at the Black Hat Conference. I mean, this just sounds like turbo nerd, forced socialization for people who would much rather be behind a computer screen. Anyway, the publicity stunt has sparked a backlash, with critics calling it sexist, creepy, and tone deaf. In a LinkedIn post, the firm's boss, Nikesh Arora, admitted it was a misjudgment, saying it was unequivocally not the culture we support or aspire to be. The company has faced fierce criticism for the online lampshade outfits, which obscured the women's faces. Guys, is this a hill to die on? Is this really like something we need to be worrying about in 2024? You realize like there's a war in Ukraine at the moment. You realize there's huge shit in the Middle East at the moment. You realize we've got one of the most contested US presidential elections ever coming up in the United States. Europe is dealing with all kinds and manner of shit. China is on the march. India is trying to take China's shine.
Mm-hmm.
Australia is entering break dancers into the Olympics who can't dance. And this is what you're worried about? Is that the most sexist thing you've ever seen? Put it back on the screen. Is that really the most sexist thing? Is that a problem? I want to know who's really upset about, like genuinely upset about that. Because you don't have real problems. You don't have any problems.
Wait, what is the issue? Like, is it because you can
tell
turn
me.
the woman on and off, or like what's
I think it's that their faces are obscured and they're just objects. It's like they've turned you into a lampshade, a lamp.
Have you ever seen promotional work before? Like that's what takes place sometimes, and people embody whatever the brand is trying to achieve. For
they got paid.
Campaign.
They got paid. They weren't forced to do this, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't think anyone really knows what the insult is, but I'm pretty sure that those girls are not sitting there crying now because they feel like they were used.
Yeah,
These are not
go
problems.
cry somewhere else about that.
Sanella says, I also thought the breakdancer was South African. I was so mad thinking we could have just raided the Cape Flats and found a world champion level breakdancer rather than that Aussie. Yeah, that's probably true. Listen, there are people all over this country who could dance better than her. Drunk, they could dance better than her. The most sexist thing was to cover the women in the Olympic volleyball with tights, says Bitcoin Boot. Yeah, no, but now you're skirting close to where we get into trouble, right? You can only turn the women on and off with the deluxe version, says Richard. San Antonio Zoo video went viral comparing their kangaroos to Ray Gun's moves. I haven't seen that, but I have seen a couple of memes, and already there are GIFs that you can get of her doing her dancing. It looks like a lot of fun.
Love her.
If I were the boss, I would throw shade on all the complainants. Mapelo, you should be in charge of that company. Palo Alto Technologies. Really, I mean, also the fact that the people at that, can you imagine how nerdy that conference is?
Yeah.
It's a whole lot of tech people who dance like this. They go like this. They go. and they don't know how to talk to girls. That kind of shit. That's that conference. Let me tell you, those two chicks under the lampshade were probably laughing the whole time. So it's better for the nerds who were there that they didn't have to see their faces.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Where did they put the on and off switch on those women lampshades? You may well ask. Use your imagination, you sexist. Okay, very good. The T-Rex move looks like me sneaking into the fridge at 3 a.m. to eat shredded cheese, says Congo Chris.
And trying not to make a noise.
Oh my God. All right. So that's important in America, just in case you were concerned.
They must
you know?
just relax.
Someone somewhere in the world is checking Obama's playlist the whole time. I don't know if he updates it himself and sends everybody, "Hi, everyone. Here's my playlist. The latest playlist that Michelle and I are listening to in Martha's Vineyard. Take a look at my playlist. Here it is." And who's on it?
So, every year, Barack Obama drops his summer playlist, right? I don't really give
Yeah.
a rat ass about this playlist. But this year, in particular, we have our very own Tyler, Miss Pummy
I like
Water.
that. Good.
She made it onto the list for one of her songs. But also, what's also cool about Tyler is that she's also become the first South African female artist to surpass 1 billion solo streams on Spotify.
I love that. Good for her.
So shout out to Tyler. She's
That's very
representing SA. Like even former presidents are listening to you. We're happy. Halala, halala, halala.
I am absolutely delighted for her. I think she's done damn well.
Yes.
And she deserves every bit of this.
Yes.
And I think, from Grammys to being on president's playlists to
Come
1 billion downloads.
Come on.
Very nice work. Good for you, ma'am.
I love it.
Keep kicking ass. This is fantastic news. All right. Well, I don't know what to tell you. If you were living in Britain, we probably wouldn't be able to do this show anymore.
Hi, boss.
I know we don't go into too much too many political stories on a Friday, but in Britain at the moment, you cannot go on social media and say whatever you think anymore because they are actually watching people's Twitter feeds and arresting people, going to their homes and saying, "Excuse me, we noticed that you posted something and we don't like what you're saying and we're going to clap you in irons." They literally take you away to jail. So if you think...
Whatever happened to freedom of speech, guys?
Well, you may well ask. Ask Keir Starmer, who has become Sturmabteilung Obergruppenführer Keir Starmer. I don't know how did Britain, the land of John Stuart Mill, how did that place become the place that was going to shut down free speech inside of people's homes and on social media? You have to stop talking a lot of smack to the rest of the world when you as a country start behaving like this. Don't call us the third world or a developing nation if you guys have just developed an accessory limb for law enforcing people who are perfectly within their rights to exercise freedom of speech. You should be embarrassed and ashamed of yourself. And I saw my friend Douglas Murray coming under some criticism for this just the other day. I think it is appalling. It's such a bad reflection on Britain, the supposed home of free speech, that this is what should be going on now. Shame. You guys should be ashamed of yourself. That's all I'm going to say. So there we are. There's my rant for the morning. I saved it right for the end. I also see that this Argentine president, my favorite president, Javier Milei with the hair.
Yes.
He has said the following. He was talking about UK censorship, and he said, since the socialists came to power, they have been putting people in jail for posts they made on social media. Many journalists here in Argentina would also like to have that because they don't like the fact that they've lost a monopoly on the microphone. It was a tool they could use to extort, smear, and slander at will. Social media has interrupted their plans, and they don't like it. So again, you could be in the UK, and your best bet at free speech is being in the comment section of this show. And we will always defend your right to be as rude to us as you like in the comment section. Right, Simpiwe?
Yes, that is a right that you have.
That's exactly what we do. All right, everybody, listen, have a good weekend. There's going to be a lot to watch, a lot to get into in sport. You know, Ben and Sandile have already given us all of the intel that we need to prepare ourselves for a good weekend. And it's getting warmer. I'm not going to jinx it, but it's that time of year when things are starting to look a little bit better. It's getting a little bit lighter earlier on. It's very exciting. Have an awesome weekend. I have got to go and get some hangover cures for James and Flex and Simpiwe. And we will be back on Monday at 6 a.m. I hope you will forgive me for finishing just a few minutes early. But
No, I'm not complaining.
these drunk people, let me tell you, these guys, they literally have their blankets under their desks. And they're going to go and crawl up there like Christopher Reeve and go straight to sleep.
Yeah.
So have an excellent day. We will be back fresh and rested on Monday.
Ik wil naar een warm land, even op vakantie. Lekker bakken in de zon, daarop wil ik garantie.